Mindsetters, it's Megan, my first show, can you believe it? And here I am doing Life Sciences, sponsored by Macmillan for grade 11. So I'm here with Llewellyn. Welcome, Llewellyn.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Not too bad. Hope you have a lovely show. I know the kids will.
Well, let's hope. Let's not forget that Life Sciences is very important. So Mindsetters, please tune in. Log on to our page. It's facebook.com/learnextralive. You can follow us on Twitter @learnextra, or get our notes, all of our videos, all of these videos, and all of our show times, all of that on our page, which is www.learnextra.co.za/live. Okay, yes. Anyway, so we're here learning about grade 11 life sciences, and I'm very excited, Llewellyn.
Yes, that's so good to hear. Now, you all know that it was Valentine's Day. I don't know if it was Friday or what was it? Thursday, Valentine's Day. So I brought some flowers. So how cool is that? Now, the reason why I've got flowers here is that on last week or whenever, we actually did different, we did the angiosperm, we did the moss and all of those. So it was quite nice. But I left out the angiosperm, sorry. I did gymnosperms. Now we're doing angiosperms, which means flowering plants. Right. Now, the nice thing about flowering plants is we can cut them up, which is the coolest thing out. So what I did was, we are going to talk about specific things on how pollen gets from one flower to the next flower. So it's pollination and all those nice things. We're going to find out how we make gametes and all of those things. So what I've done is I've taken some flowers of every single type, well, not every single type, but the main ones on how pollination takes place. So the first one that I'm going to have a look at is the nice easy one. Now, if you all know what this is grass. Now, I know that it looks very, I don't know, does that look better? I don't know. Now, it's very simple. It flutters in the air, right? So as the wind comes along, right, it blows the gametes all over the place. Now, these things are normally heterozygous, right? They mean homozygous. The males are on the male part and the females on the female part. Right, so that is where you get this wind pollination. As the wind blows, the pollen goes all over the place. Right, so there's that one. Then you get, I just need to find this one. Now, this is nice and small. And if you have a look at it, it's got this long tube here at the bottom. Now, I'm going to go to my little bag of tricks type of thing so that I can actually point things out so you can get it. Here we go. Now, I'm going to hold this up and you can see that over here you get this nice long tube and you get the petals coming out the side. Right. Now, this is pollinated by birds. Now, I will show you a picture of one later, but what happens is a bird comes along, it's got this long beak. You know your sunbirds, right? They got this long beak and it comes all the way in and it sticks its beak in there and it starts pollinating the flowers. It goes and gets the nectar right on the inside, okay? It does that, so this flower gives this bird something to drink or something nice and sweet, and by that, it drops off all the pollen on its beak. Then this bird flies to another plant, sticks its beak into another plant, and the pollen is at the new plant. So that's quite cool. So that is bird pollination. And then the last one that I want to do is insect pollination. Now, that's a nice big flower. Well, as close to big as possible. So you can see the petals and you can see the yellow part. That yellow part is where we get all the pollen from. And then right in the middle, between the parts here, you see the female part right on the inside. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm trying to. Right? The pollen will go in there and then we'll make the seeds in it. Right. So now, the nicest thing about it is I've taken things that you guys all have heard, I'm sure you've seen, and most of you have tasted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out this little thing. I don't know if you can see. It's a very small flower. Look very closely. It's a very, very small flower. Now, can you believe that this flower makes a fruit? Remember, these things are not, a lot of them are not naked seeds, right? They've got something around it. Now, this little thing ends up growing into this. Now, if you have a look at it carefully, you see how it's the same sepals at the bottom. Now, that there used to be the flower. The flower used to stick up over there. That small little flower over there used to stick up. And what do we end up with? One of these. Now, I know my wife doesn't like it, but a lot of people do. It's very, very healthy. And I'm going to cut this open to show you exactly what it looks like. Because it's always fun to see what's inside. Now, if you've got scalpels, please, guys, these things are sharp. You have no idea how sharp this is, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and slit it open nicely without messing any of the juices, which is always impossible when it comes to a fruit. Okay, hopefully, pray. Look at that. Look at all the seeds on the inside, right? Now those seeds, if I get this thing over here, these seeds, that's a little seed. You plant one of those and a new tomato will grow, right? And if you have a look, this is what the inside, or the ovary, each little sac over here is an ovary, right? And the seeds develop inside there, right? So this is one flower, but this flower over here, it's one little flower, but each one of these things will be a single female inside, right? Now, you hear me talking about female and the male parts of the plant, but we've got to find out what this actually is. So, a nice big flower, you can have a look. If you look nice and close inside, right, I'm going to break this one out. Now, this one is pollinated by an insect. And I picked this one especially, okay? The reason for that is I'm going to try and cut this open as nice as possible. That's split nicely, right? We go all the way down. Please watch fingers, as I said. And there's something inside. That's why I'm cutting it as nice and as gentle as possible. Okay, let's open it up, Look closely. What do I find inside? Hey, how cool is that? I made sure I found one with an insect. So this is pollinated by insects. Now, if you have a look at it, there's these funny things. I'm going to rip off the petals. So there's the one petal, next petal, and we're carrying on. If I can go quite rough. She loves me not. She loves me. I think that was fair. She loves me. Now, if I have a look, there's these funny little things, these little things on the inside. Now, this, as you notice, it's fallen down. Can you see? I don't know if you're coming in close enough, but they are different, okay? This one, so if I point to this here is the male part of the plant. If you see, it's got these little feet. And if I move the feet, you can see it there. It's got little feet, and it's very yellow. That yellow is pollen, right? And the female, if I can pick it up, where's the top? There we go. That's the top. That's what it looks like. It doesn't have the feet. Can you see it doesn't have feet? Now, what actually happens is those pollen grains actually land on the top there and then go all the way down. Now, I know that you can't see this very close. So, how do you like this? I've thought of the best thing in the world. Watch. Hey?
Wow, check
I
that.
thought you needed to see something nice and big.
That is some impressive flower.
Hey, what do you think?
I would love that for Valentine's Day.
But it's got to be real, though.
True.
Now, if you have a look at it, this is cool. It's nice and big. Now, what I'm going to do is, this thing here, I'm going to remove this. This is called a what? Come. It's a petal, so I'm going to put petal on the side there, and here's another petal. Can you see it? Right? And then you get these little grey things, right? And if you look they're grey. These little green things, the green things actually cover the flower. Look what I've done to this one. It's still covered. And if it make it go a little bit further, it starts uncovering itself. Now, if I take all of these off, I like stripping things. If you want to see things, you got to actually pull them apart. Now, look at this. These here that I'm bending, those are all males, right? Can you see? They got the yellow things on the top. There they are. This would have your pollen on it. And the female, look how many there are. 2, 4, 5. So if there's 5 of these things, if I have a look inside this one, see there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, and there's 7. Right? 7 of them inside there. So in this plant, there'll be 7 female parts. Okay? And a lot of males. Now, nice thing about this, if you watch carefully, how hard I'm going to try and squeeze these together. Okay? Can you still see the female sticking out? There's the female, there's the male. Female, male. Now, that tells me, just by looking at that, right, that tells me that this is not self-pollinated. It means it needs something to pollinate it. It takes this, little insect comes and lands, takes this stuff all the way to another plant, right, and fertilizes it over there. So I'm glad you've noticed this. Now, I want you to remember that petal, this is called a sepal. Then you get your Andressium and your Gamete, which I'm going to explain in a few minutes or so. But now, not all plants have that. So if you have a look, I did have one here somewhere. Look at this one, by the way. Okay? You see all this, the male parts are outside of these petals, right? Males are outside of the petals. That's also for pollination very easily. That would happen quite nicely with birds. Birds will stick it in there, this will get stuck on its beak, and it'll fly off to the next plant. That's quite a nice flower as well. But what I wanted to show you is, this flower. You see here's your green parts, right? These are your sepals, right? And these are your petals. We happy? Okay. This is your calyx. That's your corolla. It's just bigger names. You've got to write those down. Calyx, corolla. And then lastly, have a look at this one, the one that I cut up. Do you see any green? Okay. It goes straight from the stalk. There's a stalk, right? It comes right up, and it's automatically in a petal, right? Now, these ones are called sepals, right? And if it doesn't have sepals, these are modified and they become tepals. Okay, it's a T instead of a S, right? Sepals and tepals. I think that is the nicest thing out. Now, that is what that flower starts off like. See? Nice and tightly bunched and loosely bunched. Hopefully, I've showed you quite a few things here, and just it's always nice to see something physical then before we go and learn. Right, so let's go to the board. Okay, so if we come back to the board, right, it's very simple. Let's get these things going. Reproduction of angiosperms. Now, angiosperms, as I said, flowering plants. The most important thing is, if we get to know it, it's angiosperms are your flowering plants. Nice and easy and simple. Right, so let's have a look. Go to the next slide. What are we actually going to have a look at, okay, in this lesson? Okay, we're going to have a look at the structure of flowers. Now, if you remember, I showed you where petals are, where sepals are. We know where the Andressium is, the Gynoecium, and it's very important to know these things because you're going to have to learn to label them. Right, very important to learn to label. So let's go look back at the board, right, the adaptations of pollination. Now, the adaptations of pollination, if you look at it very, very carefully, each thing that we had a look at was different. Right? We had the wind pollination and what did they look like? We had the bird pollination and what did that look like, right? Everything is there for a reason. It's very, very important to actually see these, right? Let's look at the next one, okay? As I said to you before we go on to the next one, on the board here, I've got the three, what's the names? I've got the wind pollination, I've got the insect pollination, and I've got the bird pollination. Those are the three things that we look at all the time according to plants, right? Because without pollination, we're in trouble. Right? And please remember, for example, I think there was a study the once, I don't know, or maybe it was just one of these safe facts kind of thing. If we kill all the bees, we're going to be in trouble. We're not going to live anymore, right? Because they pollinate the flowers, or all the different, the plants. If they don't make seeds, they don't reproduce. If they don't reproduce, they're going to die out. All the animals are going to eat the food, all the green stuff, all the plants. We have to eat the animals. We're all going to die out. Very, very terrible. Right? So that is very important. And then lastly, we're going to discuss this one. Discuss. Because normally we do this in essay works, right? Discussing means telling me about it, let me know how you feel and things like that, right? So we're going to discuss the significance or the importance, right? That's what significance is. The importance of seeds and how they are adapted, right, for the environment. So the nice thing is we're going to have the structure and germination. Right? The germination is not that difficult. We're not going to go into that much detail, but we'll understand it soon. Right. Now, let's go. If we have a look at the first one. Okay. Structures of a flower. Now, on the board behind me, there, have a good look. Right. What does that look like? Megan, can you tell me?
A bunch of circles or a dartboard, actually.
Ah, nice.
In fact.
A dartboard. I liked it. That was brilliant. That's exactly what I was thinking. Almost.
Yes.
It was like those, when they go shooting bows and arrows.
Oh, like the boards.
That's it. They're bow and arrows. So it's a target. Right. Now, this is the best way I know how to explain, right, this concept here, whorls. Now, I want to bring it down a little bit more, and I'm going to highlight it. Okay? Whorls. Now, it's not worlds. Right? It's not what we're standing on. Okay? It's whorls. Now, whorls are very important because if you have a look at it, if I write on here, I know that I need to get a nice color. So, me try white. Let's see what that. No, white is terrible. Not even I can see that. We go for pink. Right. So, pink, there's one. Right. Can you see there's two? There's three. There's four. And there's five. Can you see all the black lines? Now, I'm not interested in the yellow. I'm interested in the black. Now, each black thing is a specific part of a flower. Now, let's have a look at this. Look on the board, right? So have a good look. This piece here that I'm coloring in now, that would be your sepals, right? This piece here would be your petals. This piece here would be your maybe another set of petals, right? This piece here will be your Andressium, so in other words, the male part, and this piece here would be your female part. Can you see what I mean by worlds? It's in which order each thing is sitting on the flower, okay? Those things are very, very, very important. Right, now, before I go on to explaining exactly what is going on, make sure that you understand this, because people are going to get confused. Sometimes, right, what they do is they combine these two worlds. Now, if you remember, this world is sepal, world 1 is sepal, world 2 is petal, right? And what do? They combine it to form one world, and it becomes a sepal. Very important. That's the nicest thing. I will never forget that, even when I was at school. It was my most important thing out. I don't know why. It just stuck in my head for Africa. Right. So what I'm going to do, you guys are going to go for break. Yeah. I'm not going to mess you around. You're going to come back, have a glass of water, and then when we come back, I'm going to show you some interesting things.
Yes. Thanks, Llewellyn. Okay, well, I know that I definitely want to know more about worlds and flowers and all of that, since I'm a girl and I love flowers. So grade 11, please go get a glass of water, quickly go to the bathroom. Keep on posting. You guys are very, very quiet on the page, so I'm pretty sure Llewellyn is doing an amazing job. We'll be here discussing your questions, and then we'll be back after the break. Hi Mindsetters, welcome back to our grade 11 show, Life Sciences, proudly sponsored by Macmillan. I'm here, Megan, with Llewellyn. Llewellyn, say hello.
Hello.
And I have a question for you.
Sure, shoot.
Okay, Emmanuel asked if a tomato is a fruit or a vegetable.
Now that is a nice question. Now, I feel very funny today. So I know the answer. Right, so let me just put it out there. I know the answer. And it's an answer that we all battle with all the time. So I'm going to throw it right back at you. So I want to see if you know if it's a fruit or a vegetable, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the next break, till the next break. Okay, just before the next break, I expect an answer. Let's see what you guys can come up with. And let's see who can give me the best answer and why. Right. What do you think,
Challenge accepted.
Megan?
Let's do it.
Nice. I like the sound of that. Now, I was at the world. So let's start and let's have a good look at the worlds, right? The first one, I don't want to go too far because, there we go. The first world, as I said, right, is your sepals or your calyx, right? Now, you get, your whorls are surrounded by, the whorls are found on receptacles. As I said, they're different parts. So if I have a look, you will get this part, then you'll get this part, then you'll get this part, and then you'll get this part. You see how it actually makes the whole piece, right? So if I had to cover that, don't write. If I had to cover that, that's where it would be. Can you all see that? And I'm going to explain it to you in a few minutes. Now, I put the first one as the petals, right? Because do you actually know what a petal is?
I don't.
Don't you?
Tell me what a petal is.
Now, a petal, that's a nice. A petal is actually a leaf. Can you believe it?
A leaf.
It's a leaf.
Explain.
Okay, now, the leaves are on a plant, right? Now, a specialized leaf is there for a reason. Petals are there for a specific reason. It is to, just think about it. If a guy walks up to a girl with this beautiful flower, what does she do? What's her first reaction? Megan, what do you think?
Can I show you my reaction?
Yes.
Be like, oh my gosh, look at that.
That's perfect. So can you see how her face lightens up? She's happy. She's perfect, right? Now, that is exactly what it does. This thing sits there in the ground and it opens up into all these beautiful colors, right? And then a bee or an insect or a bird flying around, as it's flying, it goes, whoa, look at that thing. That must be nice, right? And it goes down to take it. Right, so that is what it does. It attracts, right? Not only does it have beautiful petals, but it also can have a nice fragrance. So if you look at roses, right? Roses are cool because roses sometimes have a nice smell. But then you get other plants, right? Where inside the petals, what do we have? It's like rotten smell. Now you're going to get animals that want to, like flies and that, they want to come in there to try and fertilize or get some of this rotting meat, right? And then it can catch it or it can fertilize it, Right, so there's different, it can make it smell nice, it can make it smell horrible, it can make it look absolutely beautiful, it does everything. That's the job of a petal, or should I say a modified leaf. Right, so I put here petals are first because a petal is actually a leaf, right? So you get your petal, your sepals, then you get your petals, and please understand that not all plants, right, not all plants have one whorl of petals, okay? The plants I showed you just now sometimes have one set of petals, some have many. So you can have that whorl of petals, that whorl of petals, that whorl of petals. If you have a look at a rose, look how many petals are inside a rose, right? All of those, if you take them all off and you took them off in layers or in circles, right? Each one is a whorl. Then you go to the next one. Each one is a whorl. It's very important, right? And then, of course, the next whorl would be your Andressium. Now, your Andressium is male. It's like, I always remembered with Andrew, right? Andressium, because it's a male part of the plant, and the male part consists of the anther and filament, right? Plain and simple. You've got to know these things. Can you remember I said the anther is that long, the filament is that long tube, and the anther on top is that little foot. Can you remember the little foot there? That's important to remember. Next one, we have the pistil, and it's not a Wild West gun shootout, not that type of pistil. Okay, it's the female part, right? The female part looks, it's quite strange. It looks like this. Yeah, how cool this looks. Gives it one of these, okay? It looks like that. That's what a pistil looks like, right? And it's divided into that piece, and that piece, and this bottom piece. Now, I'm not worried about the bottom piece at the moment. I'm worried about the top piece. And we're looking at, that's the gynecium, of course. Gynecium is female. Okay, and we're sitting with, where is it? The stigma and the style, right? Stigma on the top, style in the middle, right? And then, of course, at the bottom, we get the ovaries. It's the ovaries and everything down at the bottom there. Right, now, those are your different whorls, okay, which is very important. Now, let's have a look at, wait, whoa, how do you like that? I've rushed and I haven't showed you what it really looks like. I've brought a picture. Now, this picture, okay, has different whorls. So I want you to watch. There's the first whorl. There it is. Can you see it? Okay. The second whorl is the petals. Can you see the petals coming around there? Right? The third whorl is the male part of the plant. Can you all see it? And then the fourth whorl is the female part of the plant. Okay. Those are your different whorls. It goes, if I look at over here, it goes your calyx, your corolla, Andressium, and your gynecium. And then it would be Andressium, petals, and then your sepal. You see how it's in different layers? Yes? Hopefully I'm making sense. These things are cool. It's easy marks. You can remember this. This is awesome. Right. Now, let's carry on. Now we can go on to the next one. If I have a look at the Andressium. Now, remember I said that little foot structure. If I take that little foot structure. Now, I have told you exactly what I've just told you up at the top, but that little foot structure, if I cut it in half, yes, there it is. I'm going to cut it in half. Come, there it is. I've just cut it in half. And as it's standing there, I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to turn it like that. I'm going to give you something that looks, oh, that's not good. Let's get some color going here. I'm going to give it one of these. Right. It looks quite cool. And inside here is where the male gametes are going to be produced. Now, can you remember male gametes is the sex cells of a male? Right, male gametes are the sex cells of a male. Now, we all know that plants give pollen, right? Because a lot of people start sneezing when pollen's around. Now, pollen is not the male gamete. Can you believe it? Hey, did you know that?
No.
The pollen is not the male gamete. A pollen is actually like a car. The male gametes are sitting inside the car. The pollen is just there to take it from this area to this area. That's all its job is, right? From one area to the next. Then that pollen just like disappears. It's just a car. Okay, this thing is what travels. This gets stuck to a little insect and it gets moved along, it gets dropped off at a plant, and then the male gametes start doing its job. Okay, so that's the male part. Very easy, very simple, right? Remember, cut it in half that way, it looks like that. There's the little foot I was talking about. I never liked that color on here. There's the little foot I was talking about, the anther, and there is the filament. Okay, Nice, easy. Males are simple, just like me.
I don't think so.
No, males are simple.
No.
But on the other hand, whoa. On the other hand, we have that, the female. Right, now, I always think males are simple, women are complicated, because they're special.
Special.
In a nice way.
Yes.
They are special.
You're special. It's
Thank
fine.
you. So, very special in a nice way, because they're gentle and they're soft and just makes them perfect, right, being special. Now, if you have a look at it, the female, or the gynecium, right, sits with two parts, the stigma and the style, right, so there it is. If I bring this down a little bit more, okay, this piece here, right, is where the pollen sits in, right, then the pollen actually opens, so you're going to get this piece like this, and I've got to do it like this, right, so you've got to watch. I have to use an eraser here. Okay, so I'm going to take an eraser, and I'm going to do that, okay? And then what happens is the little male gametes actually come out. That little male gamete comes out, that little male gamete comes out, and they actually leave the pollen. Right, they leave the pollen. And you won't believe it that this male gamete, the two of them, just think, you're going to have two male gametes going for one egg. It doesn't work, right? But plants have become clever, right? If they're clever, what's going to happen is, this little one here, I'm just going to use that one because he looks like he's lonely. He's going to be a digger. He makes a tube. Now, he digs a tube all the way from here. He digs a tube all the way down. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to make it nice and yellow, nice and big, right? He digs a tube. So a little pollen grain lands on there, and he starts digging a tube all the way down, okay? And if you have a look at that, I'm going to put those in, right? And he'll dig a tube all the way down, right? And it'll go round and inside there. And inside here is a female gamete. There's actually two things inside there. The female gamete and another cell.
Llewellyn?
Yes.
I think it's time they have a break.
Okay? No, it's cool. 100%. I think, if you think it's that difficult, I think we need a break.
I think they just need to recollect what they're saying and grasp what they're saying, because I'm understanding, but I think it's just time for a little bit of a break.
Do not forget my question.
Don't forget the question.
Okay.
No.
You go for a break and have a cup of coffee, and I'll have some water. Okay?
Yes. So the question is, grade 11 mindsetters, is a tomato a fruit or a vegetable? So come to our Facebook page on www.facebook.com/learnextra and post your answers, and I'll be checking and I'll be asking Llewellyn if he's right, if he's wrong, and then we'll come back after the ad break. Welcome back, grade 11 mindsetters. My name is Megan. This is my first show. So I'm still getting into the thing, seeing how it's going, posting, getting your questions, asking Llewellyn. This is grade 11 life sciences, and I'm going to be here with you all the way. So I had to give a shout out. My family said that I'm going to say hello. All my friends, Yetta, Kerry, Cameron, Rullis, all of them, I say hello. And our question that we said in the beginning of the show was, is a tomato a fruit or a vegetable? And I'm not going to tell you what people are saying, because we said we're going to say that at the end of the show. So I'll just keep you guessing as to what it is exactly. And be sure to go follow our Random Acts of Kindness on our Facebook page. Don't forget the Facebook page, because you have to post all your comments, which is facebook.com/learnextra. And you can get all the notes and videos and sessions on the web page, which is www.learnextra.co.za/live. So Llewellyn, please carry on with your flowers session, which I'm so interested in.
I'm so happy. Now, listen, we ended off with this thing. Now, guys, you need to think about that tomato thing, because it's actually quite a nice question, and people can ask it in a test, right? So, if we get back here. So, what happens is, you have the one male gamete, he digs a tunnel, he's the worker, huh? He's the worker. He digs this tunnel from here, from Johannesburg to China, all the way down, all the way, and it opens up there. Right. Now, he connects to this cell here in the middle here, this one here, just for the fun of it. right? He connects there. And we have the other one that comes along all the way down again, right? And he joins to the other cell. Now, this cell over here is the male gamete, and the female gamete, right? And they're going to join together to form a zygote, right? So they're going to make the new plant. This little one over here, the first one that entered, he is actually very important because he forms the cotyledons. He actually makes sure that there's food for the zygote in the beginning when you've planted him and there's no sunlight and he can't make food for himself or anything. While he's under there and he's growing up, that's food that comes out of the cotyledons is actually this male and this other little male gamete and joining to that cell. That's his job. Right. So that's, in a nutshell, what happens there. Right. Hopefully you can understand that. That's why I say women are complicated but awesome. Right. Nice. So, female things are done. Now, what we're going to do is important parts. Remember I said to you, when we pollinate, right, there's 3 different types of pollination that we're actually going to go through. The first one is wind. Now, the wind pollination is cool, right, because they actually have to make a lot of, there it is, sorry, it's the same as the grass. Can you remember that first one that I was shaking around like this and going mad? Right, that one is this here. Okay, now those things are very cool because the flowers are inconspicuous, right? They are very small and they're very dull. You don't need to see them, right? Because they don't need to attract anything. The wind will blow whether it likes you or not. Now, what do you think? I think that's brilliant. No matter what, the wind will blow. Right, cool? So if we have a look at it, if we have a look at the board, there we go. They are small, dull, and inconspicuous. Big word. Means you can't see them. Okay, cool. Then the stigma are sticky. Can you tell me why the stigmas are sticky?
Stigmas are sticky.
Yes.
No, because you're going to tell me why the stigmas are sticky.
That's a good answer. Now, they're sticky because if you think about it, if I've got these, if I want to throw something at her, right?
He's not going to,
and I chuck it, right? It's going to hit her and fall. Yes? Right? So if she's sticky and I throw it, it's going to stick to you.
True.
That's what's happening. The male gametes get chucked in the air, right? The wind takes it along and puts it on the female. That's why they're sticky, right? The males are actually very light and fluffy. You know, on their feet, they're these, like cotton wool, light and fluffy. How cool is that? Nice. So, we've got the stigma is very sticky, right? There's little hair-like structures at the bottom of it to catch the pollen that wasn't used, right? So it catches it, and then when the wind comes again, it can pick it up. So there's no wastage, right? It makes a lot of pollen because remember, it's got to stick onto something so small, right? And it's got this big area, the wind must just blow and hit it. Right, okay, cool. And the nice thing is they homosporous. It means you get a male plant and you get a female plant. They're not on the same plant. Right, there's the first thing. And, of course, you know me. Nice picture. Look at all that. There it is. How cool is that? Nice. Okay, next one we're going to have a look at as insects. Now, insect pollination is also quite cool, right? They've got to attract. So they've got to be pretty, right? The yellow attracts in there. The yellow and the white. Actually, the contrast makes bees and all of that come along, okay? It offers a juice, like a sticky substance, right? That sticky substance gives them food. Right? Now, that food is offered to them, so it's a gift. Why don't you come here, take my pollen from this flower to another, and have some nectar. It's a sweet substance, right? There's the the male part, right? And if you could just watch from here, there's the male part. There it is. That's wrong pen, right? I'm going to go back so that you don't see that. There's the male part over there, and you can see it. It's nice and yellow. Now, if you have a look at it, it's nice and flat. So there's got to be place for it to land on, right? The insect's got to land on a specific place. That's why it's nice and flat, okay? There's a sugary water, of course, there's nectar. It's a gift. Always remember, nectar's a gift. Otherwise, why would they go there? Okay, there's always got to be something. There's a give and take in this relationship. I give you nectar, you take my male gamete to another flower, huh? Or you bring a male gamete to me. That's how it works. Nice, okay? The flowers have a landing spot. As I said, very important, a landing spot, right? The next thing, they have a fragrance. Remember that fragrance I was telling you about? Okay? And remember, the fragrance could be bad or good. It's not always good. Remember that. So sometimes you can walk past it and it stinks, okay? And sometimes it smells beautiful, right? And then, here's a nice one. They're Heterosporus. Okay? Remember, that means it's got male and female on the same flower. Remember, I had those little things with the feet sticking out and then the female in the middle? That's got male and female in the same plant. Right. Okay, so that is Heterosporus. Now, I don't think I put in any more. No, I made sure that, look at that. Look how beautiful that. That is a, can you remember? Do you know what that is? Okay, what is that bird that always sits? It's
a bird.
That's a bird. Look at a bird here.
Oh, there. I'm looking at the flower.
Beautiful. Thinking, no, the flower's important. It's a hummingbird. It's a sunbird. It's like fly. And these things, they are so cool. They actually hover like a helicopter, and they stick their beak right into this flower all the way down here, right?
That's
so
like
that it can get the nectar.
You spoke about in the beginning, right?
That's it. So this one goes all the way deep in, and these little male parts are sitting here, and it puts all the nectar on its beak. Hey? That's what it does. It's very, very important, so that it can go to the next flower and do the exact same thing. This one is also giving the bird some nectar to drink. Now, little interesting fact about them. As they're flying and flapping their wings, they get the nectar moving up and down, which stabilizes them so that they don't move forward and backwards. How cool is that?
That's cool.
Now, let's have a look. Okay, flowers are tube-like so that it can accept that long beak of the bird, right? The bird's beak fits perfectly into it. The flower extends beyond the petals, right? So you get the flower and the petals are here, okay? And then lastly, the most important, I think, the ovules need extra protection. I mean, if you think about it, this beak goes all the way deep in. Now, what happens if it punctures the female part right at the bottom? Very important. We must try not to puncture it, because if we puncture it, then it's pointless for us. Right. Now that I've given you all this information, I think you need a break, right? Because what we're going to do next is we're going to answer some questions. Right. I'll see you straight after the break.
Hi, guys. Well, we're going to go into break now. So I can see you posting your questions. It's going well. I can see it's going. It's happening. So I would tell you what you were saying, but let's not spoil the surprise, right? Okay. So we're gonna go to a break quickly go to the bathroom, get some water, jump up and down, go get popcorn, eat it, and we'll be right back with Life Sciences Grade 11, proudly sponsored by Macmillan. Hi, Mindsetters. Welcome back to our Life Sciences show with Llewellyn and Megan right here on channel 319. So we were talking about flowers and plants, and we asked right in the beginning, what is a tomato? Is it a fruit or is it a vegetable? And you guys are still posting, I can see. So carry on posting on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/learnextra. So right now, Llewellyn's going to take us into questions, and then we'll answer the question about the tomato. Is it a fruit or vegetable after that? Llewellyn.
Hello. Now, what I did was I made sure that we got some nice questions. Now, this is something that everybody is going to put in your exam. Okay. It is a what? It's an angiosperm, a picture of an angiosperm. Right. And they're going to ask questions. Especially, they're going to ask questions on things like, what is the labels? So, let's have a look at answer the following questions. Provide one reason why this plant, this flower is an angiosperm. Can you tell me why that's an angiosperm? Okay, now, remember we had a look at bryophytes, we had a look at pterophytes, we had a look at gymnosperms, and we had a look at angiosperm. This is the only one that has flowers. Okay, so don't let them confuse you by saying this here. This is what confused them. This flower, that's the flower, belongs to classification of angiosperm. Flower means, well, angiosperm means flower. Do you understand? So it's very important. If there's a flower, it's an angiosperm, right? If it's got a cone, it's a gymnosperm. Okay, so it's nice and easy to remember. Okay, not that difficult. So that was a question where they're going to try and fool you. Okay, next one. There he goes. What is the common name given for the part labeled 8? Let me go up here. 8, 8, 8, 8. Here it is. Here it is. Can you see 8? There's 8. Okay. Remember cowboys and Indians. Oh, can you remember cowboys and Indians?
I remember cowboys and Indians.
Pistols. Hey? It's a pistol. It's this thing. It's not a gun. It's a pistol. Right? So it's a pistil, this whole piece. This green piece here, I don't know if you can see that. It's terrible. Right. So there we go. That piece is the female part, and it is the pistil. Right? Cool. So very nice word, I think. Right. Now, appropriate as well, I think. Now, write down the number of the structure in which the female gamete is produced. Now, if we have a look at it, all the way up, female gamete is produced. It cannot be produced here. That's impossible, because that is the male gamete, okay? That's where the male gametes are produced, is over there, but that's already out of the picture, okay? Cool? It cannot be produced over here. It cannot be produced over here. It can only be produced in this bottom piece over here, which will be number 6. Right. Has to be number 6, because it can also be number 7. This is houses it. This one makes it. So out of the two, the correct answer is number 7. There it is, because it makes it. This one houses it. It's where it goes around and creates the fruit. Okay, very important. So those are the two we're looking at. The rest just cancel out. We don't need them. Okay, now, all the way down. I'm sure there's another one. Write down the number of the plant which represents the Andressium. Andressium. Can you remember Andressium? Okay, let's have a look at it. I want to just show you up here. Andressium. There we go. Remember, I labeled them. There's the Andressium. It's the male part of the plant. But we have a bit of a problem. Okay, if you have a look at it carefully, look at this. Number 3, right, is this piece here, and that piece there is the anther. Yes? And number 2, over here, right, is the filament. Now, not one of them is Andressium. Let's have a look. So, remember 3 and 2. Okay, cool? We're going to go all the way down. There we go. Write down the number of the part which represents the Andressium. But now, they did not say number. They said numbers. 2. Okay? It's very important. You've got to read your question. Because I know this is what people actually do, is they read that and they go, I'm in trouble. I don't know if it's 1 or I don't know if it's 2 or 3. Which one do I put down? And then they put one number. Read the question. It says numbers. There's an S, which means it's 2 and 3. It's 2 and 3. Okay? There's 2 numbers to it. Okay. Now, let's go to the next question. I think I went to the next question. There we go. Which number refers to the whorl which is important for insect pollination? Now, look at this. Here we go. Which number, that's the first thing, refers to the whorl which, okay, is important for insect pollination? Think about it. Everything for insects. We want insects to come. We want insects to fit in. We want insects to fertilize. Which whorl is it? So let's have a look. It says which number. Okay. So can it be this part? Does this affect the calyx? Does the calyx or the sepals, does that affect, right, whether insects come or not? It's green. They can see green on the grass. Okay. So it's not that. Okay. Is it 4 and 5? Okay, they do not care which is the female or the male part of the plant. That's not what attracts them. They are very, 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 very small. If you remember those things I showed you, very small. Okay, and if it's very small, it's pointless. They don't need it. But these things, these beautiful things, the reason why we buy as men flowers for women is the beauty of them. And what attracts the insects? The petals. Okay, so let's see. Petals is, there it is, 1. So the answer is 1. That attracts the insects. Wow. And that's whorl 2, but number 1. Okay, the answer is 1. That's what they wanted. Just plain simple 1. Okay, next one. Okay, is the flower likely to be self-pollinated or cross-pollinated? Now watch here. Self-pollinated or cross-pollinated. And provide a reason for your answer. Now, what I'm going to do is, all the way up, have a look at that. This is the important part. Remember the levels I told you. There it is. Okay. Now, if this stuff falls off, where's it going to fall into? It's going to fall into the inside of the flower. Is it going to help? No. So what actually happens is the insect's got to come, grab this, and then move away. Right? It needs to grab all this stuff and then move away. If the anthers were up here, what happens is if something falls, it's already self-pollinated. So this is cross-pollinated. Very important. If you cross-pollinate it, the anthers needs to be higher than the stigma. If the anthers are lower than the stigma, right, then they are cross-pollinated. Okay.
Llewellyn?
Yes.
Do you think we should go and tell the mind-setters what the answer to their question was in the beginning?
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's stirring up. I can see people are posting and posting and posting.
I like the sound of that. So now what we're going to do, let's leave it there and let's see if we can answer that question for you. Okay. Is it a fruit or is it a vegetable? What was the biggest saying? What did everybody say?
Everybody, all the grade 11s who posted, you said tomato is a fruit, but Kele Buchile said a tomato is a fruit because all true fruits are developed from the ovary in the base of a flower.
Very nice. It's the base of a flower. Remember I said that the tomato had that flower at the top? It's the base of the flower. Right at the bottom, that is a fruit. Okay, a tomato is a fruit, not a vegetable.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there's your answer, mind-setters. It is, in fact, a fruit. And that is it from us today. Thank you, mind-setters, for tuning into our show on Learn Extra Live. Grade 11s, you have been awesome, been fantastic. Llewellyn and I loved it. It was a great show today. Thank you, Macmillan. Thank you for sponsoring our show today. And, well, we'll tune into next time. Llewellyn and I will be here. And I guess that's all we can say. Thank you, grade 11 mind-setters. Thank you very, very much.
Okay. Cheers. See you soon.